And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. Don't adjust your thermometers. It is truly 59 outside. How are you today? Hope well. It's going to be a great day. We are going to gain some temperature, though. 91 expected for the high. Don't go far. We're going to be talking about the forecast. A lot of rain and things that are potentially headed our way come Wednesday, Thursday. The worst of it will arrive on Thursday. We'll talk about all that. That's up and coming this morning, so don't miss the forecast when we'll give you the latest on that hurricane that's a brewing. Looks to be a Category 1 before all said and done. We're getting ready for a fantastic show. We'll have some realtors coming in this morning. Amanda Snowden will be here to lead the way. They'll be joining us here in just a little while. Hope you will, too. That begins at 7 with all of our local events and things that are going on. Lots gone over since we last saw each other on Friday afternoon. Actually, it was Friday morning, wasn't it? I'm bound to have done some live somewhere in between. We'll talk about all the events that happen right now. Let's start this day, a good day. Let's go to Collinsville for a good word from the Lord up above.
We've all had that moment when we've been in a group and wanted to look really smart and really wise. And so we decided to show just how smart and wise we are by opening our mouths and speaking. But to our great dismay, we instead looked really dumb and foolish. That's the chance we take when we open our mouths. Well, today's word of wisdom speaks to this sort of scenario. Proverbs 17:28 says, "Even a fool who keeps silent is considered wise. When he closes his lips, he's deemed intelligent." We need to be wise about when to speak and how to speak. You see, as long as the fool remains quiet, his foolishness is hidden. Even a fool can look wise by simply keeping his mouth closed. How much more so then the actually wise person? So you and I need to grow in our ability to know when to speak and how to speak. We need to consider what we're about to say. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it helpful? We need to think about how we're going to say it. Can I say this winsomely? We need to assess the purpose of our words. Why am I saying this? And we need to gauge the timing. Is now the right time to speak? Are the people ready to hear this? Beloved, there's a time to speak, but there's also a time not to speak. And even a fool who keeps silent is considered wise. So try zipping that lip and be wise. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Oh, that's when I'm supposed to talk, isn't it? Welcome back. We say good morning to Helen, joining us from the big city of Chunky today. I see Diane watching from Tennessee this morning as we have, Katina, all the way from Lauderdale, Mississippi. Many of you from all over the place there. Philadelphia, Charlotte joining us. Good weather there. Chunky, Susan joining us there. Big city. A lot going on in Chunky this morning, isn't it? So glad to see each and every one of you. Chet, good morning. As we start this, again, as I mentioned a moment ago, we'll get deeper into this forecast because it is something that we do want to watch. Make sure to get your birthdays in. Odie's got his ink pen over in the corner now getting ready for a big day. We'd love to hear from you. Always sad news, even with the stars. Sometimes we put them on pedestals where we don't think they have feelings as we do. Nicole Kidman's mother has passed away. We send condolences to her. That's a bad thing. I didn't watch the first one. I know a lot of you loved it. It didn't fit me. I don't know if the word is fit me. When the original came out, Beetlejuice, I could not watch that. Did you see it, Odie? The original?
The original I did.
It was, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't for me. I mean, really, there was no Burt Reynolds or anything good going on like that. But apparently, it's a box office smash again. $110 million on the opening weekend of the new version of that. That was during the 80s, that original, wasn't it? Yeah. So it's been 30, 40 years since that was out. So
and Bo Duke said, do not go see this.
Bo Duke.
Yeah.
Said, don't go see.
He said he went to old John Snyder. Said he went, it's the worst thing he ever did.
So John Snyder doesn't like it. Speaking of, John sometimes gets into arguments, and I don't know if y'all been paying attention to this. And I can't remember back of some divorce that he went through, or maybe it was the death, and the children, I think it was the children of his wife that passed away, sold his General Lee because it was in his wife's name, the title, and it was sold. And he was in a disagreement yesterday on a golf course with a camera of the guy that bought it. Apparently, the guy that bought it said that he made the statement, "I bought the car so it wouldn't leave the country," and that John Snyder could buy it back. Well, John was upset because the guy called his new current wife and said, "We're getting it appraised and we'll let you know what we want for it." He said, "Well, a friend doesn't do that. A friend buys it and sells it to you for what it cost him." He was bent out of shape over the guy was going to get it appraised. I don't see the sale going through with this. But, did the guy buy the car for an investment to begin with? Probably so. I know there's a lot of hurt feelings going on in that sticky situation with that car. So if you're wondering what John looked like he was upset about on a golf course, that's it in a nutshell. I may not have all of the details, but that's hitting pretty close to what's going on. Imagine that car is worth a chunk.
Yeah.
Paula Abdul has canceled her concert dates. She's got to undergo several surgeries. They're minor. She's not talking about exactly what it is. But if you were planning on seeing Paula Abdul, and yet again, I know she's a big star, and I can't name you any of her music. I know a lot of you know it out there. It's just, I didn't know it. I probably know it if I heard it. Y'all tell me, I'll remember it. Horrible as we go to Arizona this morning. A 4-year-old has passed away in the back seat of a hot car. I don't know the answer to that. Forgetfulness on parents, grandparents, whoever was involved in this. Having a child is a huge responsibility. It is your responsibility for life. I know a lot of y'all remember that old Stonewall Jackson song, "I've been here 15 years and still got life to go." A parent, it never ends until the day that they lay you down. Y'all know what I'm talking about that. Just because somebody's an adult doesn't make it not your child. Y'all know that as well as I do. Today, it looks like there will be a trial beginning in Memphis over the death of he was a suspect at the time. 3 former police officers made the arrest. They were videoed hitting the man, and then he would later die from injuries. Their trial, they're up for murder. We will see what happens with this as it goes to trial. This almost, I'm trying to remember Dennis Quaid. It was a movie to where he went back in time with a radio. It was called The Nightingale Murders is what they named it in the movie. Frequency, that's what it was. Did anybody see that movie? To where it was nurses that were disappearing. It was a movie. Back in real life, we have a nurse that came up missing. It was unusual as the way the police put it out. One of those that never misses work, that someone always knows where she is. Her body has been found now after 3 days. She didn't show up for work. They didn't tell where the body was found, but they have taken into custody her next door neighbor. It was in Oregon where all this went down. That's sad. She was 32. The person that's been arrested is 27 years old. And again, they're not telling cause of death or where the body was found. There's something strong there, though. We'll have to put the I's and T's together to get the true answers with this. Some people, I guess I'll word it that way, you just can't put in a group. Where do we go? Where did this happen at? Hamilton Avenue. I was trying to find the city that this went on. Of a wedding that took place. Usually if somebody's in your wedding, you're all pretty close and you're friends, aren't you? That is until later that afternoon when you see him walking down the road, and you chase him down and strike him with your vehicle. The bride and groom have both been arrested, and he has died. It doesn't look good for them. But seriously, did you think? We don't always understand what goes on in the mind of someone who does something like it. Just doesn't make sense. It's Michigan where this took place. Flint, Michigan. That was the place that had all the water issues, if I remember right. But struck the groomsman. Yeah, he'll spend a large portion of his life behind bars for what? As we've all heard that term rhino, haven't we? We have when it comes to Republicans that really aren't. McCain comes to mind with one of those, is the first name that pops in my mind. Another one comes to mind is Nikki Haley. Oh, yeah, I said it out loud. I do believe she falls in that category. She's been dodging questions all week as to whether or not she thinks Donald Trump would be a good nominee or a good president. She danced around it and didn't answer. I'm not real fond of her. Good luck to her in her political career. She wants to be your president one day. Every move that she makes, she strives to get there. You be the judge. That day will come when you have to cast a vote. Boeing and Union finally have reached a labor deal. They're not going to be striking, so those airplanes will continue to be made. They just want them to do them right. Don't argue amongst each other building airplanes. Kentucky makes headlines this morning. This happened late yesterday afternoon. In all reality, Philadelphia, Mississippi is such a bigger story than what's going on here. They're similar, but by all means, Philadelphia, Mississippi, and it just did not gain attraction nationwide, as we had somebody that ended up being a MS-13 gang member hiding in bushes in Philadelphia, Mississippi, shooting at cars. 3 people were wounded, 15 cars were hit. We go to Kentucky to a highway yesterday afternoon. 5 to 7 people were injured as a suspect hid in the bushes and also fired rounds. Again, I'm not saying that these people were not hurt. I'm saying there was not a lot of attention paid to someone who was in our country illegally shooting U.S. citizens in Philadelphia, Mississippi. No one seemed to care. Jesse Waters carried a small story on it. Outside of that, I haven't seen it mentioned anywhere else. It was a huge story. It was huge. Mississippi. Had so many variables going on there. It makes you wonder why the rest of the media didn't pick that up, doesn't it? You're all smart. I think you can figure out what's really behind that. Your parents. Well, your parents are really supposed to be your overseers, I mentioned, because it is until death do you part for your children. You're always the parent. Utah is where we go next. There's not a lot nationally goes on in Utah. Salt Lake City is there, but Utah, by and large, we kind of group into what's that TV show, Sister Wives. That's the first thing that pops to mind. But outside of that, normal lives go on. A deputy, a female deputy, had been living with her father, and things didn't work out. She moved out. He started stalking her. It has to be some type of mental problem going on there. He ended up stalking and killing his daughter. Used her debit card to cash out and tried to flee the country. They have caught him. Now, I don't know the who's, what's, and whys, but that's awful, is it not? Drunk driving, it happens all the time. We go to Arizona for our next story there, where a pickup truck drove into a building. 30 people were injured. As you can imagine, in a restaurant, how that'll end up. I think everybody's going to be okay, but wow. Have your parents, keep this in mind, in your coins, and I guess you have to be at the right place at the right time. In 1975, they made 7 dimes as an example of what was coming from the U.S. Mint, 7 of them. Somehow in those 7, 2 of them were struck wrong. It didn't put the S, down in the corner there where it's made. I think they were originally sold for $7, each one of those. The 2 people that ended up, after they bought them, that it didn't have the S mark on it. One of them sold a few years later for $18,000. I think it was around 1980 it was sold. $18,000, that amounted to, in today's money, of about $90,000. Well, that other dime was put in a safe, and no one was ever told they even had it. They had several children. Only one son knew about it. As he was getting down in his health, he told his sister where it was, and it's getting ready to be sold. Y'all take a wild guess what that dime that they paid $7 is worth. They put it in there. They had a farm, and it was their security blanket, as the parent said. I think they're both deceased. It is expected to bring over $500,000 at auction. Whoa. $7 investment. I guess it's always good to watch what's going up for sale when it comes to unique coins. Those first pennies, I think, are very popular. It's all about if something gets struck wrong. I always read up on that. But $500,000 for a dime. Her parents done well. That's really, really good. We'll be right back. We got your forecast. We'll get deep into this as to what's coming. All of that's next.
Downtown Meridian is thriving with a fresh look, and now it's getting a new neighbor. Toyota of Meridian is now open under new hometown leadership. We're bringing automotive knowledge and experience home with a focus on improved customer satisfaction and all new pricing. Toyota of Meridian is excited to serve the Queen City and exceed your expectations.
I'm Trinard Rush, and I want to invite you to Toyota Meridian, where hometown pride drives excellence.
Here at Meridian Cycles, customer service is our #1 priority. And when you buy any Polaris, Can-Am, Honda, CF Moto, or Suzuki ATV or side-by-side, we're going to give you your first oil change absolutely free because we service everything we sell here at Meridian Cycles. Come see us at 80 Highway 19 North or call us 601-485-8700. Come see us.
And welcome back. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. Let's start this off by going to radar, and let's talk about what we have coming up, and we'll show more with this. As we pull up radar, this is what is expected over the next few days. As you'll see this morning at 4 a.m., just a little bit ago, the storm 6, which is most likely going to become a Category 1 storm, was moving along at 52 miles an hour, wind gust of 63 miles an hour. This is expected to make landfall late Wednesday afternoon, right around Wednesday afternoon. This will make landfall in Louisiana. At this point, it is projected to make landfall here at Pecan Island, Louisiana. Now let's look at what this path means. As this comes across, this will go just to the west of Baton Rouge and through the middle of Lafayette. That's the center of it. It will move through Natchez, Mississippi. We need to get Natchez prepared for this. There's a lot to protect in that town. Vicksburg, you are directly in the eye of this, in between Tallulah and Vicksburg, where the eye of this storm will come across. As we look at this, we go east of there. Look at the rest of Mississippi, East Mississippi, that is now in the what we will call the path of this storm. Right there, let's look at this. Most of Lauderdale County involved in this. Let's just show you locations. Right now, it comes across right at Wynot Motorsports Park is where the line west taking in the rest of Lauderdale County. As we look at Clark County, this will come in and will come south of Jay's Taxidermy and cut directly across where the landfill is, go northeasterly right through Snell Energy in that area right there, and all points west will be in that. Now, let's be honest about this. This is Monday. This storm is coming in on Wednesday and Thursday. I do expect this to shift as it comes in. Let's show what I mean by that. At this point, we're looking at the Meridian area right through here, back over to Forest, to get between 2 to 4 inches of rain. As we get to this area, we're looking anywhere from 2 to 6 inches of rain. I do think this will shift easterly. Let's look at the spaghetti models here of where this is coming from. This is the eye of it. Everything shows us, if you look at that it's going to go up right through there, up to Greenville, Mississippi, through the Delta. I do expect this to shift just a little bit. Now let's look at severe weather of what's coming in. This is on Wednesday is what we're going to be looking at. If you'll notice this darker green, this is where that 4 to 6 inches the line is now. Laurel, Ellisville, Collins, all the way over here to Waynesboro. Right there is the line for 4 to 6 inches. Everything north of there predicted right now is somewhere between 2 to 4. Again, this will change. This is on Wednesday, and this will probably creep up even higher as we get into Thursday. Again, we're a few days out from this. Always expect these modules to change just a little bit. They usually drift east just a little bit. We could see this coming in anywhere from here and making a direct toward Baton Rouge. It's just unknown at this point. But as this makes landfall, it's expected to be somewhere around 81 miles an hour and wind gusts of about 98 miles an hour. Now, we'll look at that. Now, let's go up here and look at the projection of where the storm will be. This will be coming in on Friday around 1 a.m., just after midnight. Still holding wind speeds of 35 miles an hour and 46 mile an hour gust, and that's Friday morning. And you'll look at that line, that's going to be at Tunica. So we're going to be directly in this sometime Thursday afternoon late. as the eye of it comes across. Do not forget when we talk about eyes and things of that nature that the rain arrives long before the eye reaches you. It's always calm in that eye. Remember that? Then it will pass and more rain will come. We've got a lot of rain coming up with that. As a matter of fact, if you've got an event planned for Thursday, we've already gotten word, and we'll talk about this coming up at the top of the hour. Kemper Academy had a ball game scheduled for Thursday night. They've already rescheduled that for tomorrow afternoon when it's sunny to get that out so they can play that. So if you've got an event that's planned for Thursday afternoon, might be good to go ahead and make changes around that and get that taken care of. So that's what we've got this morning on the hurricane at this point. Right now, it's known as soon-to-be cyclone, and by landfall, making its way to a Category 1 is what we're expecting on that. All right, let's get into the forecast.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we look at our record highs and record lows, 1990, it was 102 today. As we look at 2011, we're sitting at 51. 51 was our low back in 11. As we come across here, this is what we've got today. Sunshine. Somewhere between 90 to 91 is what we're expecting with the temperatures today. Poof. As we go to Columbus, we'll see 90 there. Back over to Greenwood. It's pretty much going to hold steady until you get to the south end of this, around Natchez, Brookhaven. We should see 87 in those areas. As we go to Alabama this morning, as we see here, 90 degrees in Tuscaloosa. We should see 87 over in Clanton, even 88 in Birmingham. Let's see what else we've got planned here. Oh, here's that flash flooding we talked about. Again, today, we're talking those 2 to 4 inches of rain. All of this yellow, which takes in the Meridian area, Butler, Alabama, y'all should see about the same. 2 to 4 inches of rain is what is expected between Wednesday night and Thursday night, that period of where the storm rolls in. And we'll see more heavier rains, 4 to 6 inches from Brookhaven to Hattiesburg. Again, let me remind you that most likely that will change. This will also change. Let me show you this map. This is what we looked at a moment ago from the National Weather Service showing severe storms. The potential of tornado activity will be Wednesday afternoon late, showing this in the Laurel, Hattiesburg area. This could very well change, but this is where we are at this point, and even Thursday could bring storms like this. So we're watching all of this in advance of the storm approaching. Be prepared for what's coming. As I mentioned, if you've got an event that's going to be happening on Thursday, for sure, go ahead and make plans to change that to a different date. If you've got a ball game that was scheduled, change that. An outdoor event, change it. And you probably will need to do that on Wednesday afternoon when it comes to the rain. What's happening with the temperatures? Let's look at that. For the next 6 to 10 days, it'll warm up just a teeny bit there. We'll see normal weather there in East Alabama into Georgia as we come across. Let's look at this. Our outlook for today, 91. Tomorrow we'll see a 10% chance of rain. Moving up, here we go, 81 for a high with a 60% chance of rain on Wednesday. And that's going to fall late Wednesday afternoon, overnight into Thursday as we increase to a 90% chance of rain on Thursday. Look at that, 76 for the high on Thursday. Cooler by Friday. All this moves out. We'll drop down to a 30% chance of rain. That high only reaching 80 on Friday. Over the weekend, we should see temperatures of 84 to 86 for this coming weekend. But again, pay attention, weather. We put out that alert of watching weather Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday night and through all day Thursday. Let's back up and look at our temperatures through the 23rd. We're holding steady in the 80s, mid-80s to upper 80s, not crossing that 90-degree mark after this rain moves through. Partly cloudy skies. Your next biggest chance, as we look at this map, would be the 21st. We should make it to where things will be nice and moist after this week. Our best times to fish today. Are you out, ready to go? Looks like a major time will be this afternoon, somewhere around 5:30 to go fishing to 7:30. If you're into that and you just got to go, you could go this morning. It's going on now through the next 5 minutes. Great fishing. Whoops. Should have told you earlier. It's okay. You can still go. That's what we've got there. And as we looked at all that, we do have a couple of other storms off the coast of Africa. Let me show you that as they're developing. This is 6 right here. We've got 2 more systems trying to develop. We need to watch this scoundrel right here at 70%. We've got another at 60%. Again, it's still young. They could go away. We'll watch all that for you. Already 6:55. We'll be back in just a moment. We're going live in a couple of minutes. We'll update everything and be ready for you with more coffee, more events, and tell you what happened, who done it. All that's on the way. Did you know there were some car chases last night?
No.
Lord, I'm gonna say Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department won. I'm gonna go out on a limb. Don't run from me. I'm warning you. They got them. We'll get a press release, I'm sure, later on today. We'll tell you all about that up and coming here at the Scotty Ray Report.